What's going Houston Rock? What's going on, Houston Rockets fans, H-Town, everybody watching? My name is David Delano with Fan Arch. This is Rockets Daily, and goal here is simple. Like I said, bring you the best Houston Rockets coverage that we can each day. If it's your first time on this channel, welcome. Go ahead, like and subscribe. We definitely appreciate it. If you've been returning, thank you so much for being with us from the beginning and for the support. Right now, interesting time of the year. Kids, almost time to go back to school. Not quite, but you're definitely thinking about it, getting into that mode. A lot of their last vacations for some people. A lot of different transitions, and definitely when it comes to the NBA, we had an exciting offseason. A lot of different moves. Had summer league, which wasn't quite as exciting, but it definitely was some basketball to watch. We had the draft, a lot of those things. So now we're in a little bit of a limbo period, but there's still things going on. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the heavy hitters today as Jalen Green says goodbye to the Houston Rockets. We're going to talk about Kevin Durant and, a little bit of some articles surfacing from the podcast he did, conversation with Steve Nash about his leadership. Hate to do it, Katie, but it's definitely going to be a topic talked about. We're going to talk about if Şengün can make the next, just the next step for him, and also a little bit about Amin Thompson. So we're talking about the heavy hitters today. This is the time of the year you see on a lot of basketball shows where you see the 5 millionth debate between LeBron James and Michael Jordan, Kobe, and all those different things. People are looking for things to talk about, but we're going to go ahead and dive into the most relevant things that we can, and definitely in the comments as well. Help us out. I want you guys to be a part of this too. So let me know what's on your mind with the Rockets, and any things in the off season that you may be thinking about, and some different topics throughout the summer as we get in that waiting period for the schedule to be released, which is something that I'm really looking forward to right now. Just have the preseason schedule. So Jalen Green, first of all, let's personally on this channel say goodbye and thank you to Jalen Green. I know in a short period of time, definitely some Jalen Green came in here at the bottom and helped lead this team to the postseason. Even though it wasn't the greatest postseason, it definitely was a step. You're laying bricks all for the long term, and Jalen Green definitely a part of that. Released a heartfelt letter to the city of Houston. He talked about his growth from being a 19-year-old rookie into becoming a professional, a father, eating Skittles before games. I mentioned Houston as a city of go-getters and one of the most underrated places in America. So really nice, classy letter. Jalen Green mentioned some things, paraphrasing a little bit here, about how he understands that this is a business, and he probably would have made the trade too, which you have to appreciate. The end, he definitely gave a lot of love to Şengün here, and he talked about, if he comes in and he says, if I bust y'all for 30, if I bust y'all's ass for 30 next season, just remember the good times. So you definitely have to shout out to Jalen Green. I actually think that definitely a trade that the Rockets should have made. At the moment, I'm on record for saying it's a good trade, but I do think honestly that this is going to be good for Jalen Green's career as well, and also good for the Phoenix Suns. Chemistry is a big part of basketball, not just putting in the most talented pieces and rolling the balls out on the floor. So I think that now him and Devin Booker, obviously Durant's not there, but still, Dylan Brooks, some of the different pieces that they have over in Phoenix. Bradley Beal's gone. I think Bradley Beal was a big issue with that chemistry, and I don't think well, that's a whole nother topic. But I do think that he will be a good fit for the Phoenix Suns, and I think that it's going to be a trade that works out for both teams. Now, as we talk about chemistry, of course, one thing, talk about obviously a talent upgrade with Kevin Durant, but how's Kevin Durant's leadership going to come into play? At some point, right? At some point on a large platform, or maybe a small platform, maybe our platform, who knows? There's going to be questions about. There's going to be a point in the season. Every team hits a tough patch. It may not even be huge, but at some point in the season, the Rockets will drop 3 out of 4 games or something like that. And Durant will have a bad game. It happens. And there'll be a question. Something will happen. And someone will run with the story, maybe over exaggerating it. And they'll start to talk about Kevin Durant as a leader. Kevin Durant, with a recent conversation he had with Steve Nash, it's been resurfacing a little bit out there. And he was talking about with Nash, who came in to coach the Brooklyn Nets when he was there. Talked about the little bit of the chemistry issues that they saw in Brooklyn, and even with basically mentioning that stacked rosters don't always equal rings, which we're going to see here in Houston. We've got a stacked roster. We'll see if whether or not it equals a ring or not. And Durant said we were committed, but everyone wasn't. We, as being him and Nash, it was just weird. That's something to watch for, here. And he kind of mentioned questioning Kyrie Irving and Kyrie Irving and James Harden's commitment to the process, which Kyrie Irving came back on Twitch, I believe it was, and mentioned that coach at the time, Kenny Atkinson, not really wanting him there, and just some different different things going on. So the point that I'm getting at with this, with Kevin Durant, we're seeing a little bit of a pattern, of course. And this is going to be a big moment for him to break the pattern. And I know that Durant, to say it doesn't matter with his legacy, and to a certain extent, it really just depends, right? If Kevin Durant really doesn't worry about any of that stuff as far as being a top 10 player of all time, if he's, let's look at it as someone who was going to go down as one of the greatest scorers of all time, someone who's made a lot of money, somebody who's an NBA legend, somebody who's a top 25 player, someone who's going to be able to have a great life, after basketball, yeah, it doesn't mean anything, right? But if he cares about, and he probably does, taking his legacy to that next level, this chapter, even at 36, 37 years old, is a big deal for Kevin Durant, because you've got a stacked roster and looking to you to be the leader that takes this team over the hump. Got a lot of rebounding. Should be just a team that should kill the boards, both on the offensive and defensive side. Got a lot of guys who could defend. This is going to be a tough team, a tough rebounding team, tough physical team. But offensively, we talked about a lot to be desired. Still a lot of shooting question marks. But Kevin Durant is going to be there he can have a huge, huge season. So we're going to see what's going to happen, obviously, with those 2 titles in Golden State. Had the leadership there, had the core. You had Steve Kerr, obviously, Curry, Thompson, Draymond Green. Different structure there. Now you're coming into a situation we're expecting you to be the leader. And obviously it all really depends down to winning games and hopefully winning a championship. So this is going to be not a lot of success. I want to say not a lot of success, but when you look at Brooklyn, when you look at Phoenix, did not meet expectations. And obviously from the conversation that Durant was having with Nash, it's clear that they didn't meet expectations. So Kevin Durant's leadership, this is going to be a big point for that. And next thing that we're going to go ahead and talk about here is we're going to go ahead and talk about Alfred Sengun and really the next step for him. Now, he's a guy that Durant has mentioned a lot, even before he was acquired by the Rockets, to being excited about playing with. And is he gonna take the next step? The next step for Goonie. That's some people I know like to call him. It rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. But, I mean, lead passer out of the high post, soft touch. Man, Jalen Green and him definitely had a tight relationship. We'll see But I really think that we all know, obviously, that Şengün's a beast. But is he someone that it's already he's already at a good level, but is he someone that we're going to see kind of play at this level for the next 3, 5, 6 years or however long? Or is there another notch? Can he get a little closer to Nikola Jokic status? We'll see there, but obviously if he can, like, we should be talking about a championship. Obviously, KD's health is going to be a big thing as well. And another thing, grew up with Slam magazine. Right now, I haven't actually physically had one in a long time. And I'll be honest, I'm not even sure if they still physically have the copies. There's got to be a physical copy somewhere. But well, they went to online, but used to get a Slam magazine monthly. Attack of the Clones. Amin Thompson, along with his brother, featured on Slam magazine. All NBA defensive team before turning 22 years old. Only the 7th player in NBA history to do that. Obviously, how much of a step does he take forward even on the offensive end? And if he takes steps more on the defensive end, man, the NBA should be terrified of that. So if you go ahead and if you do check that out, if you have a chance to grab one of those Slam magazines, I'm going to see if there's a physical copy. Those are those things. Sometimes you have an opportunity to get it, just like those, Astros World Series is, with the Chronicle. You have an opportunity to purchase them. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And then I think that this Slam magazine is going to be something that you'll definitely want to have your hands on 10, 20 years from now. And now is the opportunity to do it. But Rockets, going to be a lot more exposure coming into this next season. Go ahead and let me know in the comments any thoughts you have about anything that we talked about or anything that we did not talk about. I will be back with you guys tomorrow as well to talk about anything and everything going on with the Houston Rockets. We'll see if we get some developments later in the day or tonight or even early tomorrow morning, and always looking for those comments as well. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe. There will be more eventful days sometimes in the future, but definitely still some stories. And salute to Jalen Green. I definitely wish Jalen Green the best, except for when he's playing the Rockets. God bless it and good luck.